All right. Thank you for joining us. This is podcast number 4 of Phoenix Film Revival. Today we have Cooper of Copper State Film joining us to talk about what Copper State Film is and a little bit about himself. Tell me about yourself, Cooper.
In general, I'm from Arizona originally, but I grew up in Texas, and then I moved back in 2012 to go to ASU. And then since then I've been finished there, and then I applied to grad school, and now I'm going to Southern California University in Whittier, California. Okay. And then I'll be back here in January.
What brought you about creating Copper State Film?
So I started shooting film, I think it was in the middle of 2017 or something like that, maybe 2016. And I was shooting film for a while. I wasn't processing or anything, but I was taking it into Tempe Camera, and I kind of got to know the community here a little bit. And I started my own personal photography Instagram a little bit after that. And just by looking around and trying to find film photography groups, I thought that it would be cool if I would just like post people's work. And I knew that you guys existed, Phoenix Film Revival, and that was cool. It was the darkroom stuff, but I thought it'd be fun to kind of have a film collective with consistent postings of work. So I asked Stephanie about it in the beginning, and she thought it was a good idea, and I thought it'd be interesting. So I started it, and I kind of went off from there.
Cool. Yeah, it's definitely an awesome page that you have going.
Thanks.
It's important, I think, to have community here in Phoenix, which I always preach. And
I agree.
Bringing people together to kind of share that and also showcase it. Definitely good to have. The way we do stuff is a little different. We're more the technical end of things, but we don't really have visuals like that we show. We do, more shows and stuff. But I think having that connection with the community is huge, especially with social media. So
yeah, definitely, I agree.
How do you think community benefits from Copper State Film? Well,
originally, why I wanted to get it started is the online community is really cool, seeing everyone's work, but it's an unfortunate result of it is it can be kind of antisocial a little bit. You can kind of just post your work and comment on it stuff, and it's just kind of, you don't really meet people. But I knew with Copper State, eventually it would turn into some sort of meetups and stuff like that. And I had gone to a couple of the beer and camera meetups for Phoenix, and I liked those a lot. But I think there was only like one other person there with a film camera at that point, and I thought it'd be cool if it was more focused around film.
Definitely.
Digital's really cool, but I think it was a a different experience to shoot film, and it would be fun to kind of have that sort of group.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Film is definitely fun. It's more hands-on, I guess. Different experience.
Yeah, definitely.
You have to wait to see your images.
Not that it's like a members only sort of club, but do you I noticed that definitely on the pictures that you post on Instagram, they're very well curated on that. As far as allowing members to come in, yeah, you post a lot of good stuff there. I mean, you got a great eye.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Because I noticed that at the photo walk, there were a couple of people just shooting their first film.
Yeah, definitely.
Or first roll of film.
Yeah,
I love how it wasn't so intimidating for a beginner to join the club. Seems like you got a pretty cool open door policy for everyone to join in.
Definitely, yeah. I try to actually stay away from kind of focusing everything on the followers and the numbers and all that stuff. I always follow anytime, all the people that I'm following on the page are either people directly involved in the film community here, or they shoot film themselves. And I wanted it to be encouraging for beginners. So a lot of the posts that I've put on there have been beginners, people that are in their first couple of years of shooting. And I always make it a point to, when I follow someone, I'll go through not their whole page, but I'll go through the most recent 20 photos or whatever, and I'll try to find something that's good for the page. And a lot of beginners have some good images, and yeah, if you go to the people I've posted photos, a lot of them have, below 200 followers or below, most of them are below 1,000. And yeah, there are a couple of people like Natalie Allen, and there's, who else are like the big, Isaiah has a lot of followers now, Jordy.
Yeah.
I post their stuff, but oh yeah, a lot of the followers are just getting started, or a lot of the images are people just getting started.
I think inclusion's important.
Yeah, definitely.
I really
Yeah, I don't want
appreciate
people
that.
to be intimidated by the page at all.
Yeah, it's really awesome with these the photo walks that you do. I personally have to say I've never really been the biggest fan of photo walks, but now that I've gone on a couple, I'm like, oh, this isn't as bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, getting out and like talking with people and interacting with people, you know, with film and with other people is, I don't know, it's a different experience, especially after going on the past few that I've gone on. So
Yeah, I didn't want to turn it into like a pissing contest for like equipment or like
Right.
who's better than who and all that stuff. It's more, I want it to be more about just like making friends and having fun.
And that's what I love. I'll say it. I hate photo walks. I think it's always, I hate photo walks. I hate softball and I hate bowling. And it's mostly because everybody takes the competition way too above and beyond. Like, dude, who's got the biggest lens and this, that, and the other. And
That stuff's ridiculous.
And well, but the vibe that was at that last photo walk was so chill. It was so cool. Everybody was just inclusive, and that's what I really loved about the vibe. To where I posted, I was like, yeah, I'd go to another one of these.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't go to another one of.
Yeah, I didn't. I kind of. I don't know. I'm an introvert. Like, I'm very introverted. I don't really kind of go out of my way to hang around people, which is kind of.
yeah,
I don't know.
I know that feeling.
It's weird being like the leader of these sometimes. I kind of let Stephanie like lead the group.
Yeah.
She's a social butterfly, so I just let her do it. But the first couple, I was a little nervous, just kind of like I didn't really know what was going to happen, and I didn't really know how to like guide people and stuff. But yeah, now the last couple ones I've been to have it's been basically just hanging out with friends. It's fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it translates, but it feels like it's a comfortable environment for like beginners and people who, you know, are just getting into the community. And I feel like we're like, as a group, we're pretty inclusive and, you know, are encouraging to those sorts of people. I mean, I'm still a beginner myself, so like I'm right there with them.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to keep my eye out for the next one because I'm definitely gonna be there.
Are there any plans to have like an art show or people helping or people printing their work and moving on to the next step of just shooting the film and actually displaying?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I don't think I will do any personally because that's not my specialty. Photography is more a hobby for me. My trade is the medical field, so that's like what I have like interested in on like a professional level. But yeah, I'd love to do more collaborations with you guys and like kind of promote sort of like a Phoenix Film Revival, Copper State, like collaboration for darkroom days and stuff like that, because I think there's a lot of people who don't develop and don't print and things like that, but they really want to. I think that there's a ton of people that are in that category, and yeah, I feel like there's definitely a lot of room for events like that.
There's plenty of people that shoot. I think shooting and then scanning and then sharing is pretty big. And I think once people get a little time in the dark room and get to experience that, I think they'll enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know, something magical about it. You just shine some light on a thing and it does a thing, and then you have an image.
Yeah, I think people scanning is great, but I think there's a lot of people who are frustrated with the process of just scanning negatives, just because it's like it's kind of like the whole kind of like how vinyl nowadays, like when you're listening to music, it gets translated through a digital medium and then you goes through the speakers.
Right.
Like we're taking an analog format and basically converting it to a digital format. So I think people have a lot of frustration with that, and they show a lot of interest in actually just using an enlarger and making prints. I think it's a lot more like authentic. I've still personally never done it myself, and I have this big desire to do things like that. But yeah, I think people would love to have events like that to where they could instead of creating like these digital colors and kind of like what they want in a print, and actually doing a analog print.
I agree. I think there's just so much you can do, in the darkroom and create. And it's what they did, back in the day, old school. I think it's pretty fun.
Do you have any personal photography projects? Do you have like a photo project about the medical field in progress, or any other type of photo projects going?
Yeah, one of the things it's complicated with the medical field because HIPAA laws are really strict about photography and patients that are involved, and you can't really there are certifications you can get and things like that, to where I know there's a field of surgical photographers and things like that where people are actually in the OR. But when it comes to actual patients, it's you have to protect the patient's identity and make sure that their rights aren't violated. So I would love to. It would be really cool, but it would be kind of unrealistic to think of a project where I'd be photographing patients. But if I ever had that opportunity to do that, maybe do it for Doctors Without Borders or something like that, to where I did some kind of medical mission and brought my camera with me. But I doubt it would be on a professional level. It would probably be more getting authorization from whatever body to just bring my personal camera and kind of document that experience. But outside of that, especially in the U.S. and especially in established hospitals, I don't think it would be realistic goal. But yeah, I mean I have something in mind for that, but it's hard to
pulling it off would be tricky,
to say the least. Because even the surgical photographers, they usually there's not an actual patient there. They just are pretending to be doing surgery.
Oh, wow, that's funny.
Yeah, so they kind of get the surgeon doing their work, but they're not actually operating.
That's interesting. Never really considered all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Rules for everything.
Yeah. I don't think they'd be cool with me bringing in a 4x5 into an OR.
That would be so awesome.
That would be pretty awesome. Yeah. You'll be the first.
I actually asked, I observed, before I started in school, I observed a few dozen surgeries for an orthopedic surgeon I worked for. And I asked him one time, I was like, can I not scrub in sometime and stay back 15 feet or whatever and photograph you working? And he said it's just too much of a risk because you can't really sterilize a camera. You'd have to so you have to scrub in and everything has to be perfectly sterile. And you could technically put a bag around the whole camera and somehow you maybe use a filter to cover the lens or something like that. But it's just too much of a hassle. And if the patient had an infection or something, they would definitely blame you for bringing in a camera to the OR. But
yeah, that's don't want to don't want to get tied up in that whole debacle.
No.
Well, portraits before and after surgery.
Yeah. Oh no, I've taken plenty of pictures of the doctor, but not in the OR.
There you go.
Ultimately, I think what would be, after you build a community, as far as keeping it ongoing, and what would be the end game in your mind to have the perfect community of film photographers living happy lives and things like that? What how do we keep the gears oiled up? And
I think for all of us, for the whole community, I think it'd be cool if we could get some big companies on board eventually, like Cinestill or Kodak or Bessler or whatever, those sorts of brands to kind of come in and not not tell us what to do or anything, but basically give us, I know Cinestill does, I forget her last name, but she's this really cool photographer in Nashville, and she photographs musicians there. Lauren something, I forget her name, but she just did a project with Cinestill, and she was recording these artists in the studio and stuff like that. So sometimes you can bring these big brands in and they can kind of work with you to create sort of a project. And it's it's good for everybody. It's good for them to sell film and to sell equipment. And it's good for us to kind of, give us opportunities that we wouldn't have had without their sort of support. And I think that would be really cool. outside of like sponsorship sort of stuff, I think it would be cool to eventually have like maybe a website. And you guys have talked about you guys are starting a website, and I don't know how that would work for Copper State, because I want to definitely maintain the trust I've established with protecting the rights of the photographers and not posting people's work without their permission, and making sure that they're the one benefiting also, and not just like the community, or sorry, the page.
Right.
But yeah, I think that, and maybe I've had some ideas about doing eventually a gallery, and you guys would be involved in that too. Just maybe having like a selection of, I don't know, maybe everyone would submit one photo or print a photo with you guys, and we would do a gallery, something like that. But
yeah, it'd be definitely awesome to get into maybe some of these other galleries that are bigger, like Market or.
Yeah, but as far as like Copper State meetups, I don't really see them evolving too much, because I don't really want to charge people anything. Like I think it's cool that it's cool that it's free. You know, there's been a couple. We did one where it was like I think it was during Halloween time of the year, like November or something like that. Yeah. And we said we were going to go to the pumpkin patch, and it was a $10 cover, and that was I think like I think it was I wasn't in town. I was in school, so Stephanie was leading it, and I think there was like 4 people that showed up or something like that. Yeah. I was like, all right, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. People are busy spending their money on film.
I get it too. I mean, I don't want to, I mean,
it should be fun.
It should be free. I don't know. It's dumb to charge people for the stuff like that. But I mean, for printing and stuff like that, it's obvious that you would have to charge them for that. But if it's just walking around taking photos, like, I don't know. I don't really think it should be more complicated than what it is already.
Yeah, it was to keep some stranger from following the group around anyway, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What? And for those that are on the fence of joining the community, maybe they're a little apprehensive about, showing up to a photo, what kind of advice would you tell them, or what, sort of words of encouragement would you give to them so that they show up and have fun?
Probably that it's not complicated. There's no like pressure to do anything. Like, I mean, I don't know. People can come, and you don't have to like prove yourself as a photographer or anything like that. Maybe just let them know that it's laid back and people are friendly. I don't think there's ever been any like, whatever clicks or whatever at these photo walks or anything like that. It's usually pretty overall like a good feeling of people being inclusive and just having fun, laughing, and yeah. Even if you're introverted, like if you just want to walk around and take photos, like you don't have to like talk to everybody. It's fine. Right. You can just do that.
Yeah, I think I really enjoy the photo walks. I think it's very inclusive and easy.
I try to keep it laid back too. I don't really want to be like, all right, we're going here at exactly 6. We're going here. We got to be here by 6:30, or else we're leaving you behind. It's mostly like be here at this time, and then we'll figure it out there.
Yeah. Well, I think that about wraps it up. Thank you for coming on the show, Cooper. I really
absolutely.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
I think what you're doing for the community is really great, and
thanks you as well, for sure.
We all benefit from that, so I'm excited to see where we go and continue to keep the community going and encourage that sort of behavior, shoot film, and keep it alive.
Yeah, so definitely.
All right, thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us this evening for our 4th installment of the Phoenix Film Revival podcast. You can visit us online at www.phxfilmrevival.com. Our website will be coming soon. In the meantime, visit us on Instagram at PHX Film Revival, and be sure to follow Copper State Film. That's at Copper State Film. All right. Thank you.